What's up, Copilot family? Christian here with sales consulting and tech support. We're going to be going over another comparison video today between the two softwares of Jobber and Copilot. And the topic today is going to be essentially creating an estimate, going from the estimate, creating a job, and then kind of what that looks like on the actual schedule. Um, so let's go ahead and start with Jobber. And I've said this before in some of my other videos. I honestly really love the interface and the design of Jobber and even the functionality in most of its pages. Um, and yeah, I like just for instance, I really like this little like kind of like progress bar, I guess you want to call it, or whatever the case, but I don't know what they call it, but it's pretty cool to see from the request to the quote to the job to the invoice, right? It's cool visually and it feels good when you complete stuff, right? So here at the top, quote for this is essentially where you choose the client. Cool little pop-up. We'll go and choose Steve and George for this one. Job title, we'll go mowing. Keep it basic today. It looks like you can add custom field from here, which is really cool. Product, so it looks like add line item from here. Variation, blah, 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 blah. See if I set up a mowing for this account. I didn't, it doesn't really matter. We'll go bi-weekly mowing. Aeration, cool. Looks like I can add optional line items, so this is cool. Be able to upsell essentially when you're on the actual job site. That's really cool. Add text. Let's see what this add text is. I think the add text is just adding descriptions for these services. So you can have, the actual description of each line item that you already put in, but it looks like you also just add description in photos. Um, Photos is huge. Photos is something that Copilot's also going to be adding in here in the near future as well. I really enjoy that function as well. Client message. Looks like client message is a message that you can send out specifically to the client, which is cool. You can change if they can view that or not. Looks like there's some internal notes and attachments section to here, which is awesome. You can add and require a deposit, which is also really cool as well. For an example, like Christmas lights people, they tend to do a deposit or just a full completion of payment upfront. It's a really cool feature. Um, you can drag down some jobs or invoices from here too. It looks like link to not related jobs, blah, blah. Anyways, yeah, some attachments, stuff like that, and then you're pretty much done. So I can save quote, save and, that's a pretty cool button there. Save and send a message, send as an email, convert to job. So I did a couple comparison videos in another software, and there was essentially like this button here was at the very top, which didn't really make sense to me. You'd fill out everything and then have to come all the way back to the top. I really enjoy the fact that this flows straight into the next thing. Yeah. So we'll save quote, puts us in like a preview stage, which is nice as well. I would like to see maybe what communication's going on with this estimate or with the job that I want to create too as well, but no worries. Is what it is. Cool, sweet. Send text message, edit, more actions, download PDF, collect signature from here. Preview as the client, that's a cool option too as well. Approved or not approved, waiting on response is probably its current status. Let's go and convert the job. So this is what it looks like when you're converting to job. This is their new job page. Custom field on the right hand side. Instructions for this mowing title. One-off job or reoccurring. Let's go and create reoccurring. Usually that opens up some scheduling fields as it does. You can see your current schedule on the right hand side, which I think is brilliant. You can see what you already have job on schedule. I guess that could also be solved with just kind of knowing where your budgeted hours are at as well. But anyways, start date, time and end time, repeat. This is essentially weekly on Fridays, every 2 weeks on Fridays, month to the 14th month of the day. So you can create a custom schedule. Essentially, custom schedule will always be the best route to go, right? Monthly, daily, of course. For 1 week, Mondays. Cool. Duration, 6 months, years. So you can set up to years. Huh. That's pretty cool. Essentially create like a couple year contract or what have you for a recurring series. Add a team. Invoicing. How do you want to invoice? Fixed price per visit. That's cool to be able to do a fixed price. That's essentially like a level billing, yeah. Automatic create and pay invoices on this job. Oh, cool. So this is just essentially auto pay, right? Pay and oh, cool. So it's just setting up auto creation of your invoice and auto pay of the invoice for those who feel comfortable doing so. Probably a setting within the client portal to do so. I do like how they have all those settings relatively close when you're setting up the jobs. That way you can make everything happen at the same time. It's brilliant. Invoice dates. It's the dates and the total amount of invoices that it gives you here as well. Here's your line items once again on the actual job. Internal notes, attachments, invoices, what have you. Save and create another. Email booking confirmation. Cool. Textbook confirmation. Save job. Not bad. Really cool interface. Very functional. Lots of communications to also add like settings that you can set within, for that visit and for that customer right there on that same page. Looks like it's taking a little bit to save. Cool. Now I want to know if it can essentially just take you straight to the job on the schedule. Looks like it's being scheduled. I'm not gonna spend too much time. I can't really find where essentially you would just be able to go to schedule now. I guess he doesn't just take you to schedule for you. We'll go to schedule and we'll be able to look at our jobs from here. So this is their schedule page. We don't need to find that specific job. I put a bunch of different recurring visits on here just because I was just testing things out. You go to a today view. That's next month. Go to a weekly view. Pretty clean. I do enjoy that. That does look nice. We'll go into a day view. Gives you a nice timeline. And then the map view. So it's almost like this is like what you would think would be like your dispatch board essentially, and be able to do some things from here. I don't believe that we have that with the subscription level that I'm at right now. And then a list view or like a grid view. Very simple, very easy to use. More actions real quick. Yep, it's just a little quick action button. Okay, cool. Let's click on a job. So when we're done and we're trying to complete this job, this is what we're getting here. It looks like you have the phone number, contact. Again, I really like the fact that in Copilot, we can just kind of, if we need to go to this customer's page, this is a link that is active that I can just jump straight to that page, which that's something that'd be something that they have. That'd be cool. Mark as complete or update future visits, text reminders. Yeah, hopefully you could just have automations that already are working in the background. The fact that we have to like text reminders from here or do like press some of these buttons concerns me because it's not necessarily saving me too much time, but it is relatively all within the actual workflow. So I do get it. It is functional still. Boom, 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 boom. Connie client. Ah, cool. So I think this does take you to their page. Ah, sweet. Okay, I see what we're saying. I see what we're doing. So sweet. It does have this page is actually really functional. It's cool. Notes, select a file, drag here. Cool, and then complete job. Boom, straight into invoice. I like it. And then you can create invoice from there. Well, cool. Let's go and switch over to Copilot. So here's our estimate. In terms of its capabilities, fairly simple, similar rather. But we do have a couple extra things on there. You can add let's go and choose Peggy. Boom. As you can see, you have the different things you can edit up in here as well. Items and services. We'll go and put a mowing package on there. We're going to add package too. I haven't seen add package in a simple form to just see an ad on a couple CRMs now. I didn't see that on Java either, like a package setup. There may be, I may have just missed it. Optional line item, as you saw, it's very similar to what Jobber has as well. Essentially recommendations of some services that a customer can choose on, an upsell. Um, Notes for the customer. Jobber had that as well. Terms, photos, documents, and internal notes as well. So very similar to Jobber. Essentially, you can create custom fields as well, which is nice. Save and estimate. Sweet. The preview page here is, I think, where we really stand out. You have the automations that are going to be going on in the background. No buttons to be clicked. If you wanted more to happen here, you can just literally change those settings from here as well, which is nice. At the top here, we have a consolidated action button section up here that you can essentially duplicate some of these, archive, create invoice from here if you want to essentially have them pay on the job before actually executing the job, create the event, changing status. So if someone essentially accepted it on accident, you can essentially change the status and resend out, or whatever the case, decline, accept, or they will essentially change, request changes on your estimate as well. I can also just send from here, email, text, message, all the above from here. One really cool thing that we can do from here as well, I did not see this on Jobbers as well, is individually schedule out some of these visits. So I did throw a package on here, and obviously this is going to take an immense amount of time, probably even more of the budgeted hours that we have thrown in here. These are just test line items. But essentially, if I want to, I can schedule each individual of these services one by one. So I'll pick a property that Peggy has. Maybe this is going to her rental. I'll create the visit, and it'll essentially just bring me to the full create new visit page, but just for this mowing line item. And I can do that separately for all the services that Peggy's requesting. Cool. Let's go and create event. From here, you can look at some customer specifics, property specifics, all visits, and show here as well, which is nice on the right-hand side. We have some invoiceable, not invoiceable based off of your workflow for your invoices. Level billing is easily set up in the finances level billing section. And essentially, you can just go ahead and create one for this specific customer that will set up all the parameters in terms of the line items, the frequency of which they're going to be getting the recurring series, all the above. Once you click on this, it'll self-populate all the information down here below. But let's go through the full process today together. So I already have the location that I want on here. I already have my line items from my estimate. Again, let's go recurring series. Just that way we open up some of our really cool options here. And again, this is where we kind of have a little bit of a lead here. The indefinite visits is a recent update Copilot's made, which is massive. So you don't even got to touch anything, right? I make this recurring series. If I set up the level billing will essentially make the same exact payment price and with the same services that these people want every single time. And I don't even got to touch anything, right? So we'll go and set up the indefinite visits. If you knew the total or if you had a first and last date, you can obviously throw those in there as well. But let's go and take advantage of this indefinite visits. We'll go weekly. You can set up monthly, yearly, all the above, same options that we had and that we saw in Jobber. One huge thing that you're not seeing though in a lot of these other CRMs is the budgeted hours and this what we call our budget hour capacity chart. Essentially, I've been doing lots of different tests and video calls with people. So I'm obviously over my budget hour capacity line, but this would be my line that I have set for all of my employees accumulative in our budgeted hours. Anything over this, I'd be pushing my people into overtime and maybe even possibly, if depending on the revenue, ready to hire someone on. But you're going to see this budget hour capacity chart all over Copilot to make sure that you are ahead of the game when it comes to your budget hours. Start date, time frame, and here is another huge feature that I'm not seeing on a lot of other CRMs as well, is that's the ability to have an off season. Off seasons are huge, of course. If you're in the home service industry, you understand, especially if you're in the South, East Coast, West Coast, we all have different types of seasons that we're gonna have to work around. Adding seasons or adding multiple seasons is huge. Crews or employees or tags, you can just internally tag straight from here if you didn't already have tags on this customer or this job. Notes, visits, internal notes, property checklists. This is where you can attach, this is essentially like the attachment section to this job or to this reoccurring series. Photos, custom fields, like I said, and then you create the visit. Easy day, easy day. Cool, so this took me straight to this customer's profile. Let's go straight into the schedule. So here's our schedule view. And this is, again, budgeted hours is seen on here. This is a very unique feature to Copilot in comparison to other CRMs. You're not going to see this across the board. Essentially, you can see your budgeted hours, what your capacity is, what you have scheduled, what you have available, and then the difference between single visits and recurring visits, which is great, especially for your admin people who are keeping track of this. Maybe that's part of their responsibility, what have you. All of our filter options and the ability to essentially change the colors of everything on your schedule based off of the service that your business provides. You have some cool different toolbars here, um, work requests, expenses, equipment, just some cool little things that you can keep track of while you're in the scheduling section. And if you noticed in the scheduling section of Jobber as well, they had a couple different tabs that you can float through, but we have a handful more. We have our today view that you can see in both grid and calendar view. So here's our grid view. Calendar view puts it at more of like a timeline like we were seeing before. And you can do that for the week view as well. Nice grid view. Obviously, we have these columns at every single section that you can turn off and on based off of preferences or what you'd like to see or have visible. But let's go into the calendar view because this is probably what everyone's used to or at least sees on demos and what have you. So as you can see on the weekly view and the today view, the budgeted hours was across the top. As you can see on the left-hand side for this one, you can see it here as you scroll down. One huge update that Copilot just made here recently is that after 10 visits on this, you have a nice little more events tab, and then you can scroll through if you have a lot of visits, your bigger company will have you on the day. So it's very nice to be able to have that. It's more appealing. Before essentially just elongated the day. So like Monday here, 26th, was just one long day with 27 visits on it, right? Really easy to essentially just kind of grab and drag. If I needed to, I can click the white space here below and it pulls up all the visits for the day. Now I have all these visits for the day. I can essentially select these and change the day of which I actually want to reschedule these. These are things that I just didn't really see that's not very visible on the on some of these other CRMs as well. I can go to all events. Let's go and check this out real quick before I go into these other tabs. This is what it's going to look like when you're clicking on this job to complete it for the day. A little bit different than Jobber, as you can see. All the options, but just a little bit more bigger of a pop-up of a page rather than that condensed page with some of the buttons that took you to other pages within Jobber. So here, like I was talking about, that feature to be able to access the customer's page directly. You can access the reoccurring series directly from here. This is their location. Property notes, visit notes, dispatch notes is a huge update that we just added as well. Um, Here's the line items that are going to be attached to this. You can add any of these, add package, what have you, crew that's attached, tagging, custom fields, before and after photos, any extended photos on this, your budgeted hours, and the actual time clock here for the job. How long do we actually spend on this, right? Complete invoice based off of your workflow that you have. Some people have the auto generation and auto send of invoices, so this would really just be a complete, and then things start working for you. Like I said, you don't have to click a button that says now send a text, now do this. Hopefully, you as a user, you've already went through a Copilot University. You understand that you can set up your settings and have things just start working for you, especially communication and automations, right? From here, I can skip. It's going to ask you why you skip, turns the visit red, and then you can reschedule it like I showed you before. But yeah, that is what it looks like to do it from there. Okay. All events, recurring events, these are real cool ways to just kind of um, make some changes, check out some filters, find some different jobs, and do some quick actions here at the top. If you'd like to operate from your schedule, then we give you the freedom to be able to use these filters, find your list of visits, and even close from here. So if you're not someone that works from the dispatch board, you work from the scheduling view or whatever your job is, wherever you're working from, whether it's the truck or it's the desktop, the mobile version, you're going to be able to do all these actions um, within the software. Move all open events, which is nice too. So if you have, your whole day's rained out, what have you, you can shift your schedule to the right, 1 to 7 days, I believe, which is also really cool. Customer statement, just some just some things. Show stats. It's just showing stats for budgeted hours and revenue as well. Cool stuff. Reoccurring series, if you needed to essentially update a recurring series or make some actions to a recurring series, add some off seasons in a bulk manner to a recurring series, it's pretty cool to do so. Multi-step program. I'm not going to spend too much time into this. I don't want to go into each and every single detail. As you can see, Copilot has a lot of cool things and a lot of details. Check out our Copilot University. We're constantly updating that, just like I'm updating these videos. As Copilot innovates, we're going to continue to make these videos for you guys so you guys can stay up to date. Yeah, multi-step program. Essentially, I can have like a fertilizer chemical program. Boom, grab onto it, start date, whatever property to the customer. Is it invoiceable? Who's doing it? How long is it going to take? What service is it? You can essentially set up multiple rounds. This is a 3-round chemical spray and essentially have like X amount of days in between each spray based off of the chemical. Very nice. Save and generate the visits immediately. It's on the calendar. So that is our estimate to job to the schedule and the differences between the two. I for sure didn't hit everything. Like I said, please check out our university or please check out Jobber and get a feel for it yourself. I appreciate you guys checking out all these comparison videos that I do post out here. Feedback is always great from you guys. If you're already a Copilot user, then please reach out to me if you need some help. Schedule a call. Hit us up on the Help Crunch. ATC is what we call ourselves, Air Traffic Control. Me and Steven, we love what we do and we love helping out our users. If you are not a user, please, and you're interested, please schedule a consultation with me. I would love to chat up about your business, get to know you guys, and see if we're a good fit for you. Take care.